time for part 2. Part 2 is all about Crystal. In each Pokemon generation there is one game that comes out at the end of the generation that tells you, it shows you, this is what the true version is meant to be. Sorry. Yeah, so Crystal. The big achievements, well, the sprites can wiggle, which would be utterly forgotten about until Emerald. And, oh, you can choose to play as a girl. That was big news when it came out, because up until then you were stuck as Red or Gold. Red in Gen 1, Gold in Gen 2. But here you finally get Chris, and she will never be shown any more love after this game because she will be replaced by Lyra in the remakes. Other big things. I guess there was minor graphical updates in this one too, because these ones were backwards compatible with the original Game Boy. This was not. See, really I don't have much to say, except for this is kind of my master file. This is where everybody went. I have as close to a complete Pokedex as one could get on this, excluding Celebi and Mew. Hell, I had 4 Mewtwo's. They were leverage. But yes, this is the ultimate version. This is the true beauty. And I guess I'll get more into the stuff I may have neglected to mention. For instance, you don't play as Red, you play as Gold. I should have mentioned that in the first part. I also should have mentioned the gym leaders. You got Falconer, flying type, Bugsy, a bug type, who most people thought was a girl at first. Oh, and the apricots from Azul Town, or whatever the hell they're called. You turn fruit into Pokeballs. This game also introduced the concept of the Battle Tower, something that would be a staple in every kind of Final Up one ever. You have Whitney, and her Meltank. Though, if you know what you're doing, you can cheese the fight pretty easily. Marty and his ghost type. Chuck and his fighting type. Speaking of Chuck, anybody else wish that Hitmontop, one of the new Pokemon in this generation, had been called Hitmonchan instead of Hitmontop? Because we have Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee. Why can't Hitmontop be Hitmonchuck? I mean, Tyro, the baby form, is already Ty, you know, kind of a Tyson, because he kind of is supposed to be a boxer, I guess. I don't know. But why? Why? Why no Hitmonchuck? I guess that's why we have the gym leader Chuck for. This is the only generation, back onto the whole generation as an overview, that doesn't have a Safari Zone. We have a bug catching tournament in on the outskirts of Goldenrod. There's Jasmine with her. She's a very, very repressed girl if you think about it. Her team consists of 2 metal balls and a giant steel phallic-shaped thing. There's been much discussion about that. Price, the ice asshole, and Claire, the crybaby dragon master, who is Lance's cousin. And you fight Silver throughout the way, who's Giovanni's son, another thing I neglected to mention in part 1. Then, you know, the Elite Four's changed. Agatha and Lorelei are no longer there. They've been replaced by Koga and, what is her name? Karen, I think. She's a dark type. Oh, and Will. Will, too. Will, a psychic type, has replaced Lori. Koga took Bruno's old spot. Bruno took Agatha's old spot. And Karen took Lance's old spot, and Lance is now the champion. Brock's back, Misty's back, Surge is back. Pretty much all of them except for Jamie, who is Koga's daughter, taking over his gym. And Blue, yeah, the rival from the last game, is now the gym leader of Viridian. And I also neglected to mention at the end, you can scale Mount Silver and fight Red, the silent protagonist of the last series, Gen 1, to a battle to the, whatever. Yeah, He's just standing on a mountain high somewhere, contemplating. But yeah, those are the things I neglected to mention in part 1. Crystal is the definitive version because it has all the little updates, sort of like how people say Emerald is the definitive version or Platinum is the definitive version. And I'm still trying to think of anything else I might have left out. Eevee got 2 new evolutions in this one, a Dark and a Psychic type. There's the annoying Unknown. There are 26 variations of it. Actually, no, more than 26, because it's the alphabet and a few exclamation marks. Not exclamation marks, but punctuation marks, like a question mark and an exclamation mark. Yeah, that's pretty much it, except for, like I said, with this one you get the battle tower, and you can play as a girl, and the sprites jiggle. So, yeah, part 2.